Hey everybody, welcome back to SJG Perspective. Today's video, I wanted to do a kind of a follow-up to with Greg Anderson. He's a police officer that was, I don't know if he's been officially fired yet, but he's on administrative leave pending termination. You might want to know if you've been living under a rock, maybe you didn't see the video that came out a few days ago when he was in a squad car. And he basically, I'm not going to play that whole video right now, but we are going to play the video where his most recent one. But basically, where he just was saying, hey, law enforcement in America, you American law enforcement, you Americans that are officers, your job is to support and protect the Constitution and the rights. That's what you took your oath to do. It doesn't matter if a governor or a mayor or whoever else tells you to violate constitutional rights. You can't do it. You shouldn't do it. It's ridiculous and it's scary if this is the way we're going to go. His video went viral. Look it up, YouTube Greg Anderson, and you can find his video if you didn't already see it. Well, he did a follow-up video on Instagram where he's at home, and we're going to watch this. And he basically is stating that he is on administrative leave, how he got kudos and he got props from his chain of command when they first watched the video, when it had, I don't know how many thousands of views on it. By the end of that day, it had maybe 400,000 views. And, a few hours later, they call him up and say, okay, the video's gone far enough. You got to take it down now. You got to take your video down. And he's like, well, wait a minute. A few hours ago, it was okay, and it was good, and the message was something we needed. But now that it's getting too many views on it, you want me to take it down? Sorry, can't do it. Not going to do that. So then it proceeds to go, and it gets up, I think, into the millions, right? It's going seriously viral. And he gets another call from his chief, who he has a lot of respect for, that basically said, you can't be a police officer in Washington State and go against the governor's orders. You have to take the video down. Or you basically, so many words, you're going to be fired if you don't. The dude with size King Kong nuts, man, just stood his ground and said, no, I'm not going to do it. He also's got cauliflowers and is a black belt in jiu-jitsu. The dude looks pretty like, fucking business. Seems like a super nice guy, though. But anyways, it's neither here nor there. He said, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to back down. I'm not going to bow down to your tyrannical, authoritarian, anti-constitutional orders. I'm not going to do it. I don't answer to you. I answer to the Constitution and I answer to the American people, and I'm not going to do it. He said it very respectfully, but let me show you a little bit of his video right here about him speaking, and then maybe I'll pause it. I don't know if we'll watch the whole thing, but let's watch this.
Hey, what's up, guys? So I just kind of wanted to take a couple minutes, get everybody caught up to speed on what's going on in my life. I've been getting a lot of questions, and figured I'd just make a second video and answer some of the things that I've been receiving. I first wanted to say I'm humbled by the response that my video got. It's been viewed millions and millions of times. People all over the country have been calling me, texting me, sending me emails, comments, and the overwhelming majority of it has been positive. And so I think that's pretty cool, because my whole thought process on making that video was trying to bridge the gap between law enforcement and the public. And I've seen both sides with open arms willing to embrace that. And I think that's a step in the right direction. So that's pretty cool. One thing that I've seen come up over and over in the comments, and I've been in emails sent to me, is, are you going to get in trouble? What happened to you? Or is there any discipline or any discipline taking place? And so I figured I'd take a chance and give you a little synopsis of the last 3 days of my life after posting that video.
3 days.
So
3
I
days.
posted the video on Tuesday, was it May 5th? And it took it took a day or two before it really started getting a lot of traction. But the next morning when I woke up on the 6th, I think it was only at a few thousand views. And I had received a message from my command saying, wow, Greg, what a powerful message. We agree with that 100%. Well done. And that was actually a relief for me, because I was like, great, I know that it's risky putting something out like that, but I felt like it was so grounded in integrity and liberty that no one would have an issue with it. So that was a relief. And then fast forward 3 hours later, I get another phone call from my command, and it said, hey Greg, the video's up to 400,000 views. It's time to pull the plug on this thing. And I immediately, it kind of caught me off guard because I said, why would we want to pull the plug on something that was already acknowledged as a good and powerful message from one law enforcement officer to others?
Guess my pause button doesn't work on this thing. I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why they wanted to pull the plug. Because right now, the upper echelons of the political hierarchy want police officers to get in line because they understand something, like Greg said in his first video. He said that if the people rose up and stood up against this, the police can't stop them, right? And this is what I said in one of my earlier videos here recently, is that you got a small percentage of the people making the rules and trying to authoritarianly put them on everyone else. And if you comply, you go along with it. If you comply, you die, right? If you stop moving, you die. Movement is life. They say that, I'm sure you would talk about that. They say that in combat training and whatnot. You know, when you don't move, you die. When you comply, you die. And the reason this is causing such a big uproar, because it was gaining so much traction, is it's going against the narrative. The narrative is Big Daddy government, from your mayor to your governor to your president to your federal government, they are the ones getting the messaging from their superiors, whoever those are hiding in secret places, that want this to happen in our country, that want this to happen in our world. And they rely upon the military being good little Gestapo that will actually not think for themselves, not, weigh everything against the Constitution or against liberty or against freedom, not do any of that. They want simply people that will be yes men, that will say, yes, we will do this. Yes, we will do that. We will drop our badge heavy armor or a badge heavy power on you, and you will do what we say, because we are the military. We are the police force. We are the law enforcement. And he's not playing along with that narrative. And that's why they have a problem. That's why he had to be fired. That's why he's being told to step down, because his message makes entirely too much sense and is completely too logical. So they have to shut him down. They have to shut his message down. That's why they're doing it.
And I said, yeah, that doesn't really make sense to me. I think maybe we should embrace this message and we should share this with other officers. And he said, listen, it's not up to me. I have been directed to tell you to take the video down, and I need to know if you're going to take the video down. And I said, no, I can't take the video down. Because if you listen to my first video, the whole message that I was trying to share with people and impart on them is, if you believe in something in your heart, you have to stand by that conviction, even if it costs you everything. And like I said last time, I have 3 little kids. I have this house. I have another house. I cannot afford to lose my job. But after putting that message out there and sharing that with America, and it was so well received, I can't then just say, even though that's what I believe, I'm going to take a step back, I'm going to retract my words, and I'm going to allow my command to prevent me from sharing my heart and my truth. And I said, so with that in mind, sir, I can't take the video down. And
what a stud. This dude deserves a medal, a promotion, and he should be leading. I know we don't have a national police force, right? But he should be the head of all police forces and all police agencies nationwide. He should be their spokesman. I don't know how this works. I know that can never happen. But this guy's a freaking hero and a stud and a true patriot. A true freaking patriot.
I didn't know where this was going to go. And I immediately started thinking about, what are they going to try and gig me on? What did I do wrong? What policy did I violate? And I got called back a couple hours later, and by this time, it was skyrocketing. Everyone in the agency was seeing it. Cops from when I was an officer down in Los Angeles, they were contacting me. I got a call, and it said, listen, the video needs to be taken down right now, and you need to accept a letter of reprimand. Or we're going to take a very different approach to this if you say no again. Well, I'd already put myself on that hill.
King Kong balls this guy has.
I had to be willing to die on that hill.
What a stud.
They said they determined the video was a violation of policy, and that if I wouldn't take it down,
we don't know what policy, but I'm sure it violated some policy because we need robots and you're apparently not a robot and we just need you to do what the F we tell you to do. So we're not exactly sure exactly what policy, but it's really bad for our whole national worldwide narrative that the cops need to just arrest and just Gestapo people from actually being able to go to the park or get more than 6 feet away from somebody. You need to arrest and tackle them down like that piece of crap cop did in New Jersey, right? And beat people up like the other cop that was punching a kid because he wouldn't. I guess that didn't have to do with COVID, but still, same thing. Violation of rights, violation of freedom, violation of common decency. And this guy's not having any part of it. And so guess what? We got to fire him. He's not playing. He's not a team player.
That allegations would be made against me, and so on and so on. And so I told him, no, I'm not going to take it down. You do what you need to do.
What a stud.
But the principle of it is rooted in truth.
Yeah.
And it was a positive message that was received by millions and millions of people. If you want me to take it down, I have to respectfully refuse.
Yes.
And it was interesting because they kept citing different policies, like, oh, it was the social media policy, or some of your equipment may have been identifiable. And that kind of seemed like a moot point to me. And it was strange because why was the message okay at 5 a.m. and then 3 hours later, there was a problem with it? And so I was later contacted by the chief of police. He's someone that I have great respect for. He's a good man to work for. And
I don't know why.
He's the one that shot me straight. And he said, Greg, if you openly defy your governor, you can't be a police officer in the state of Washington. And I told him, I said, you know what? I can respect that. And if I were in your office, I would shake your hand, respectfully disagree, and say, maybe I'm not meant to be a police officer in the state of Washington then. And here's my thoughts on that, okay? You have to do your research. You have to figure out what your true north is, what your truth is, and where you stand on issues. For me personally, I believe that the Constitution supersedes all other documents, all other laws.
God, he's speaking
There's
way too much
case law
truth here.
supporting that. If you look at Marbury versus Madison, 1803, it says any future laws created that are repugnant, meaning in conflict with the Constitution, are null and void. So when I look at how I feel comfortable enforcing the law, and I see people exercising constitutional rights, it doesn't matter if there's different executive orders, requests from mayors, requests from governors. To me, the Constitution supersedes that, and I'm going to stand with the people.
Yes.
Well, unfortunately, higher up in all agencies, there's a political game being played, and now I am on a administrative leave status pending termination. I was told by both the agency
You'll be okay.
and the union that I was asked to take it down, and I refused. So that's refusing a direct order. It's an insubordination charge, and it will result in me ultimately being let go from the agency.
And probably having a massive lawsuit, hopefully.
And I said, you know what? If that's what you guys have to do, if that video is so bad that you want to take my career from me, and you want to leave my, potentially...
Home of the free, though, right? Home of the free. We have freedom of speech here, right? We have freedom of thought here, right? Right? And this isn't like a private company he's working for that has their own right. This is a governmental organization, the police force, Port of Seattle police force, paid by tax dollars, telling him you don't have a right to think what you want to think or say what you want to say. You'll say and do as we tell you you'll say and do, or you will lose your job and you will lose your career over it. Especially if you're supporting the Constitution, which we're trying to violate right now. We're trying to get people comfortable with understanding that they don't have rights. That the only rights they have is what we deem they have. What we as Mr. and Mrs. Daddy, Mama and Papa government tell you have. That's the facts of the matter. Gone are the days of your freaking of the Constitution being something that meant anything, and all us little sheeple are going along with it. All of us are going along with it. If you're sitting here going, oh, I'm going to wear my mask, and oh, I'm going to social distance, and oh, I don't know, we better do what they tell us to do because they care about us. When the F has the government ever cared about us? When? They care about power, they care about control, and that is what they're trying to do, and that is what they're implementing right now. And if you don't get on board, you deserve to be herded into the cattle car. If you don't get on board and you don't, like this guy, conscientiously object to what he's being told, if you comply, you deserve a spot on the cattle car. Gonna take you to the warm little room where they're gonna give you some sleeping gas and incinerate you. There could be some hyperbole in there, but my point remains the same. You deserve to lose your rights. You deserve to lose your freedoms if you're gonna go along with this kind of tyranny. And this guy didn't, and he's a stud.
Take my ability away to provide for my family because of that video. Do it. Because I'm going to stand by my convictions, just like I said in my last video. So yeah, it's weird, you know, how fast your life can change in a week. It's something that I never thought would happen. I never thought that I would make a video that would resonate with millions of people. But, you know, my head is held high. I'm not intimidated or upset by how this played out. Like I said in my last video, man, I fought in the streets of Ramadi during 04 and 05. I came to terms long ago that my convictions and my beliefs may cost me everything up into my life. And even though it's 15 years later and I'm a police officer in Seattle, Washington, that truth still remains for me. So I don't have an option to back down or feel sorry for myself or give in and say, you know what, I got kids and I think I'm just going to take the letter. No, if they want to do me like this for standing up for liberty, they can do that. I'll leave you guys with this. You know, it's on to the new adventure for me.
He just goes on to say, hey, if you got some job openings, whatnot, please let me know. I'll get my resume going. But no, he said it all, obviously, and I've said what I needed to say on this. The guy's a stud. He deserves a medal. He deserves honor, and yet he's getting fired because he doesn't want to play by the narrative being shoved down all of our throats. And until we all have the same resolve that this stud has, that says, no, I'm not going to comply. I'm going to speak the truth. I'm going to stand for liberty. I'm going to stand for freedom up until the time we all get together. And as he said in his first video, if we did that, things would change. They wouldn't have the control over us like they're pretending they do. They only have control because we're giving it to them. And if you don't understand the beauty and the necessity and the depth of freedom that we are supposed to have, if you can't see that and respect that and appreciate that, then you don't even deserve to have it, quite frankly. So if you would rather trade your freedom, right, for security, your freedom and your liberty, give those up for security, for being safe from this scary virus that is not scary at all, that really is no different, that has had less impact than the flu, or a little bit more, but nothing to the level. It's not like this is Ebola where you bleed out in 3 days out of your anus, right? This is something that 96% of people that get it, maybe even higher than that, recover without any problems at all. If you're going to get behind this agenda, I don't know what to say. But I want to end this video on giving a big shout out and a big thanks to Officer Greg Anderson. You are a true patriot, and we all need to take and adopt his same kind of resolve, that we're not going to comply with this anymore, and we're not going to lay down and just take it anymore. Until next time, it's SJG Perspective without fear or animus. Please like and share this video, and we'll talk to you on the next one. Bye.